Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course. This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday here at Bronco Nation News. BroncoNationNews.com. We're coming to you from the Western Collective Studios. Make sure you check out the Horseshoe Golden Ale, where a portion of the proceeds of every beer sold goes to support the NIL collective over at Boise State. We got Jay Tust with us. We are back from Savannah. We're back in full swing, ready to turn around and leave in a couple days once again. But going to be a fun week, fun game on Saturday as Boise State heads to take on, for now, I guess, number 3 Oregon. We'll see if there's any changes in the polls when they come out here in the short term. But he is Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB. My name is BJ Rains, and it's Taco Bell Tuesday here at BNN. How we doing, Jay?
I'm good. I'm super eager to see if Boise State has done enough to jump inside the top 25. You know, if you look at the teams that lost, there's a chance they might sneak in. My gut says they're going to be 26, but even if they had that little number 25 next to their name on Saturday, that would be really, really cool for a quote-unquote top 25 showdown in Autzen Stadium against Oregon.
Yeah, I think they probably don't get in there. I agree with you. I not enough teams lost, probably. I'm not sure A&M loses. They lost to number 7. I'm not sure they fall out of the polls for that or whatever it was, whatever Notre Dame was ranked. But, yeah, we'll see. It'd be cool. The problem is if you lose, you're not going to be ranked, obviously, the next week. And then you got Portland State. So it might be a little bit of a climb back in over the next couple of weeks. So I still think they're probably, 3, 4, 5 weeks away from getting ranked. But I think it'll probably happen at some point. If I had to guess right now, I think they're ranked at some point this season. But we got a lot to get to, Jay. I want to review. I got a couple clips eager to get your perspective on. I went back and, you watch the press conference where they're live. You're trying to, you're moving your camera angle around. I'm trying to making sure things are good. And you're listening, but you're maybe not dissecting every second of every word that's said. And you go back and listen to it and you're like, man, okay, I'm going to play that again. And there was a Dirk Cutter soundbite I want to play. There was an Eric Shenander soundbite. So I want to get into some of the stuff from yesterday and your thoughts on the game, but also kind of take our first look ahead to Oregon. I got a Dan Lanning comment as well that I wanted to get to on today's show. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, Jay, but we were both down there in Savannah. One kind of look back at the game on Saturday. I mean, the Broncos 1-0, they got it done. I know it wasn't pretty at times, especially on the defensive side, but overall, I guess, what were just your takeaways from what we saw Saturday in Statesboro?
I think if we say it wasn't pretty, then we do talk about the defensive side, particularly, the last, 2.25 quarters, if you will, because on offense, it was marvelous. And I know that Dirk Cutter showed up yesterday and he didn't say it was that, he says that we got things to clean up and all that stuff, but I will let the numbers speak for themselves. 56 points, 651 yards, and 371 rushing yards. And BJ, if you look at the teams that have played FBS competition, not to take anything away from the FCS folks, but if you take a look at the teams that have played FBS competition, there are 75 schools in America, right? And Boise State ranks third amongst those schools in points with 56, first in yards per game at 651, like I said, and first in rushing too, for that matter, against FBS competition at 371. So it was a pretty darn good day on the offensive side of the ball.
Defensively, though, obviously some concerns there, and it's highlighted by the offense they're going to play this week at Oregon. But you look at FBS competition, I think I looked at some of I got to find my story here, look at some of the stats. But if we're going to point out the offensive, efficiencies against FBS competition, the defense numbers were just as bad against FBS competition. 461 yards of offense, 322 passing yards. And I believe, where was the number at here? There's only about 10 teams, if I can find it, in the country that had 12 teams in the country gave up more passing yards to an FBS opponent than the 322 given up by Boise State. So the pass defense was a problem last year, Jay. Everyone, thought it was going to be improved, and it may prove to be improved, but at least in game one, didn't do much to instill confidence in Bronco Nation that there were corrections made to the pass defense.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. The jury's still a little bit out for me. I'm not going to, make my conclusion off of one game. But, you certainly hope that they probably performed a little bit better down the stretch. One thing I will say about this defense is there are a few areas you can really point to, I believe, that would make a massive difference. I'll save, forced fumbles and turnovers for you, because I know that you brought that up, but I'll talk about third downs. And so much of the bad is eliminated if they just get off the friggin' field on third down, man. And it's crazy how much, some of those bad stats go away or are certainly minimized if you just get off the field on third down a few times. And there was a stretch there. You and I were sitting next to each other, BJ, and we're going back and forth, man. It's like, if you include a pass interference penalty, or if you include the personal foul on Jaden Virgin Morgan, there was a stretch there where Georgia Southern basically converted 9 consecutive third downs. Now in the stats, one of the 9 wouldn't have been the personal foul. That's just counted differently, but that was still on 3rd and 12. So for the sake of this, we're going to count it 9 straight third down conversions, and that was just a massive backbreaker. One thing that I think might help a little bit is getting out of that heat and humidity and maybe trusting your depth a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I really thought that Boise State would rotate on the defensive line a little bit more than they did, specifically focusing on those edge positions. Ahmed Hassanin, who, he's an absolute tank and he's a warrior. And man, we went over this last week on the show, or on Friday, and he played 70 of 91 defensive snaps. And that heat and humidity, that's a lot, man. That is a lot for a defensive end that's a pass rusher. And then on the opposite side of that, Jaden Virgin Morgan was out there for 68 of those 91 defensive snaps. Tavion Woodard, I thought he would be a little bit more of a presence. And, there's a situation at running back that I just don't want to assume anything at this point because I don't exactly know, but Tavion played 3 snaps. And that surprised me. I don't know why. When we liken it to running back, there is a reason why Breezy's just been in and out of the lineup and hasn't been healthy enough. He will be a factor for this team, but I just kind of think get off the field on third down and try to keep those starters a little more fresh, and those that could definitely help with some results.
And I don't understand why it's the case, Jay. I mean, it was a problem last year too, but it's the third and longs that are such a problem too. I mean, 6 of the conversions on third down were at least 7 yards. Twice at least four times they converted 3rd and 9, and twice they converted 3rd and 10. Like that's statistically not supposed to happen. I know you talk about a lot about getting behind the chains and things like that. And like when you've got teams in 3rd and 7, 6, they should not be 6 times. Like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Like they were 12 of 19 because they had 3rd and 1 15 times and just converted that. But when you're talking about 6 of those 12 conversions being of 3rd and 7 or longer, that's just not supposed to happen. And it was a problem last year, and it happened again on Saturday.
Yeah, I would say that your success rate of getting off the field on 3rd and 7 or more, I mean, I assume that probably should be 20% of a conversion rate, and Boise State isn't anywhere near that right now. So I think those are things that they think that they can focus on and fix and be a whole lot better. And so it goes back to that saying, BJ, it's never as bad as it looks. It's never as good as it seems, whatever that cliche is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, I definitely walked away discouraged from some of the stuff on defense, but I think when you look at the stats, I guess I'm not necessarily talking about the execution because that's up to the boys, man. They got to figure that out. But if you just get off the field on 3rd down a few more times, that score and that outcome of that game looks a whole lot different. And it was interesting too, BJ, because in the past it had been on a lot of big explosive plays, right? And for the most part, that I know it seemed like it, but it really wasn't the case with Georgia Southern. Like they hit on that one 48-yard pass play, but outside of that, it was like a lot of like the 10 to 14, 15-yard variety that just kind of just almost seemed to bleed Boise State's defense to death there in the second half. And so eventually they got it figured out. I personally believe they get a little more, I don't know, man. I want to say they're going to get a little more aggressive too. And Andrew Simpson, man, like you look at the last half of last season, that guy was used half the time almost as a pass rusher. He's so bendy and slippery and he can do some things. I think they do that more this week. I'm not sure. I'm going to guess they do. That being said, I don't know if the answer is to always blitz a 6th-year, quarterback that has a wealth of experience in Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, I think it was Nathan Carroll, a good follow on social media, said that it was, I think, 14 out of 46 pass rushing snaps or whatever. It was only about a third of the snaps or less than a third that Andrew Simpson was used in terms of a pass rush and trying to rush the passer. And you look at what he did on those, 14, 15 snaps, that maybe that is the number you want higher. But I think there was Eric Chenander had mentioned some of the things that they were doing offensively. They needed to keep him back available for some other things on some of the plays. Let's hear one bite from Eric Chenander. This is Eric Chenander, Boise State's defensive coordinator. He was asked just about a lot to fix, but at least he got the win.
It's always good to fix things up after a win, and there's a lot we have to fix. Early in the game, guys were lined up correctly, communicating correctly. Everything was being done at a very, very high level. And as we got tired, as the game went on, a few things didn't happen our way, just with some leverage, some communication pieces, some things that I could have definitely corrected. I don't want to get into because that's going to get game plan-ish for next week, but definitely things that I didn't do as far as following the game plan that I could have helped those kids with. But it's just executing at a high level. It's doing the simple things better than anybody else does. And part of those things is maybe we need to rotate guys a little bit better. Maybe we let them play too many reps down there in the heat. So a lot of things correctable from the coaching staff and the players. But like I said, it's been a while since we won game one, which is, that's a good thing to have. We got a victory, and now we can fix things while we got a victory, but that's not the standard anyone wants to play with. So there's some good, there's some bad. Let's get this thing fixed and let's get it tightened up for next week.
And again, some good, some bad. I mean, I mentioned that they did have 4 forced fumbles for the first time since 2006 against Nevada, but you only picked up one of those. And again, I don't know what the percentage is or standard is. I asked Eric Chenander, he's not sure. I mean, when you force 4 fumbles, you need to get more than one of those. And if you get just one more, I mean, maybe that changes the game depending on when it is. I know the one that rolled out of bounds led to a punt anyway on fourth down. That was Andrew Simpson's strip sack there. But overall, if you could get one more of those forced fumbles, would have been nice. And then there were a couple balls up there. I remember one down to our left. The ball was just kind of floated up there because the quarterback got hit. There were a couple opportunities, but I'm not trying to make excuses here and say that the defense was close to pitching a shutout, Jay. I mean, they certainly were not good, as particularly against the pass. But the one turnover, they were close, I think, to getting a couple more, which could have really changed it. But again, it sounds like we're making excuses for the defense or saying they were really close to having a great game. I'm not sure they were, but I think it could have been a little better than maybe the stats shown if they pick up one or two more of those fumbles or find a way to get one of those interceptions.
Yeah, another thing too that has to be way better against Oregon. The average starting field position for Georgia Southern was awful, and I didn't realize that until I was looking at the stat broadcast or whatever it is after the game. And there's obviously a tab you can click on that gives you that, and I didn't realize it was that bad. I mean, Boise State did have a couple of turnovers deep in their own territory, and I get that, but I didn't realize it was bad. I mean, it was almost it was midfield for Georgia Southern. So better starting field position, clean up third down, maybe get a couple of those takeaways that you knock out, and this thing looks massively different. Like, it doesn't seem like they're super far from achieving all that, BJ. We saw the defense get off to a good start. So it suggests that it's there, but they got to do it over 4 quarters, and they got to do it in a hurry because Oregon is on deck with an unbelievable quarterback.
No doubt about it. And that's, I guess, why it's heightened. If they were playing Portland State this week, you'd go, okay, he had some problems, but a good week to kind of correct them. Well, no, now you had a lot of struggles, and you're playing a team that's significantly better the next week.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I mean, the reality of this is, we can all look at the score of the Oregon game last week against Idaho. Idaho is an FCS school. And I think if you watch the game, you could definitely see that, it is what it is. Oregon has superior talent than just about every other team in America. And that was the case. But you know what? Idaho played their butts off, man. They played so hard. And yes, most of their offense was probably generated off trick plays, or at least the scores were, but whatever. They played hard. So yeah, that shows you, if you go into Autzen Stadium against this Oregon team and you play harder than them, you're going to have a chance. And considering what we saw out of Ashton Genty, it seems like 2 weeks ago, this and beyond that, this seemed like a pretty far stretch, if we're being honest. Now, all of a sudden, it seems like you should or could be able to go there and compete. And you get this thing into the fourth quarter, who knows what can happen. You got to be the tougher team. Or Idaho is very tough. Yeah. They played so hard. So we'll see, though, if Boise State can do that I don't think this is a matter of opinion. This is a matter of fact, with better talent. If they can play as hard as Idaho, and with Boise State's talent, man, they got a chance at Autzen.
Yeah, Oregon really moved the ball almost at ease. They just had some things happen where they didn't score. I think the 24 points is a little misleading. So, and they're also going to be wanting to prove that they're a better team this week. So I think Boise State's catching them at a bad time, to be honest. I'm
agree.
Really worried about. I'm not buying the Boise State has got a great chance to win this game hype that some people are now. I still think this is going to be a really, really, really tough game.
They're still 20-point underdogs, my friend. I'm just saying that. Looking at this a couple weeks ago, it seemed like a really, really tough game. I think now crazier things have happened, man. Sure. I saw what Ashton Genty did with my own eyes. You did too in Statesboro. And if he brings it like that, and if this offensive line can play as well as they did, then anything is possible. And so this is, I kind of asked Spencer about this yesterday, and this is a program game, man. This is a program game. If last week against Georgia Southern, Ashton Genty kind of announced his self to the college football world. Boise State, if they go and compete in Eugene, well, then all of a sudden the Broncos are back, man. I really believe that they will be viewed very differently across the national landscape, to the point where, you go and win in Eugene, you're going to make a massive jump in the AP top 25. You go and compete there, you still might be able to move into the AP top 25. So we'll see what happens, but I am really, really excited to see this game, BJ. It's one of the bigger ones in a while that we've covered for the Boise State football team.
Oh, yeah, and just to see that Ashton Genty versus Oregon matchup is certainly going to be exciting. Maybe not as exciting for Dan Lanning, who talked about Ashton Genty yesterday, the Oregon head coach.
Best running back I've seen since I've been here. He's certainly an NFL guy, and he doesn't go down on first contact ever. He's one of the best stiff arm guys that we've gone against. He runs really, really physical. And then, the next guy they brought in ran for 100 yards too. So really powerful rushing attack. Their offense does a lot of good things to scheme you up. And, they have compliments off of each play, right? So a great stretch play is going to have a great boot play action off of it as well. So they hold you accountable. They make you tackle. They're going to make, DBs tackle. They do a really good job of that. And the back certainly, is a big piece of their success.
All right, Jay, I want to thank a couple of our sponsors, and then I do want to transition to the offense. An interesting comment from Dirk Cutter yesterday about the wide receivers, and then I want to talk what we thought about Madsen and the running game. We'll get into the offensive side of the ball here in just a second. But do want to remind folks, join us at House of Western proper down there on Idaho Street, downtown Boise. They got the National Bar. They got the 3 restaurants of 3 concepts in there. When you walk in, you turn to the right, and they got the bar there over to the right. And I had a tremendous time. It sounded like my wife was over there, and I know Jaden Finch was there, and not an open seat in the house, according to folks that I talked to for the watch party there. So they had a lot of fun. They were fired up. I know our man Kip Booten was fired up, and they were cheering and making some noise and having fun. So if you're looking for a spot to watch the game on Saturday, we'll be there again with a special guest captain. And again, 8:00 kickoff. They will have the game on Peacock at the National Bar there. So $3 Horseshoe Gold Nails, discounted burgers, and again, 10% of all proceeds goes to the Horseshoe Collective. So hope to see you guys Saturday, 8:00 at Western Collective and the House of Western downtown Boise for the BNN watch party along with the Horseshoe Collective. Hey, RoePaint.com, our title sponsor, ROEPaint.com. Check them out, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Whether it's those concrete coatings, that's their specialty. We've had it done twice at the Raines household, or you're just looking for some interior, exterior painting of your home. They can help you out. They can do industrial, commercial as well. So all your painting needs, make sure you reach out to our title sponsor and get it done. They'll give you a good deal. Tell them you heard about it on BNN. ROEPaint.com. Roe Painting, 991-0567. RoePaint.com. Our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News. Coming up next week during the bye week, we'll get back to the Tyson Degenhart Show. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but as you know by now, the easiest mobile online banking app you'll ever find is right there on your smartphone. So check them out. ICCU.com. You may think you're happy with your current banking situation, but once you switch over and realize all the extra benefits and things that ICCU has, like the Raines family, will wish you had done it much earlier. So check them out online, ICCU.com, or go visit a local Idaho Central Credit Union branch. Hey, Matt Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. The Raines family, we purchased our home. We sold our home using Matt and Kelly and Kate and Sarah and the whole crew there, and it was just so easy. Customer service was top notch, and I could see firsthand why he consistently is the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. So next real estate need you have, doesn't matter how big or small the home is, Matt can help you out. BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's is the website you can go to. 13 locations across the state of Idaho. They got the Magic Valley, the Treasure Valley, other areas, so surrounding states as well. They've got almost 30 Ridley's Family Markets in all. So check them out. ShopRidleys.com. Save up to 40% off the checkout line with the Skip app. Next time you're heading up to McCall, love the McCall location right there before you head to your campground. So check them out. ShopRidleys.com. The weather is going to start to cool down. Snake River Pool and Spa would be the perfect spot for you to go get a new spa. TheSpaTeam.com is the website. Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. And again, they can help you out with the pool and spas. The Raines family did. The installation, the setup, everything was just so easy. They help you every step of the way. And we couldn't be happier. And our boys are out there pretty much nightly now after baseball practice and everything else, just kind of getting the muscles soothed a little bit. TheSpaTeam.com. And again, if you're not looking for that, they can help out the game room as well. They got the pool tables, the billiards tables, dart boards, everything you need in their patio and game portion as well. So check them out online at TheSpaTeam.com. All right, Jay Tust, if I can get my graphic off the screen here. There we go. the offense. Ashton Genty certainly was phenomenal. Maddux Madsen, I thought was, better than average. I thought he was solid. The one interception wasn't great. We've talked about it. He battled back and played well as well. Overall, I mean, the offensive line dominated. I mean, there was, again, I said this yesterday, Jay, but I mean, you put up the offensive numbers that you did, the third, 56 points, 600 plus yards, everything. And again, this was on the road against a Sun Belt team that went to a bowl game last year. Like, this is not doing this against Portland State. I mean, this is a legit, again, are they going to be a top 25 type team? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in terms of the, teams that a lot of teams around the country played, this wasn't Kansas doing this against Lindenwood. I mean, this was a real team that you played and a Sun Belt team that went to a bowl on the road in the season opener to put up 56 points and 621 yards or whatever it was. I mean, there was a lot to like about the offense on Saturday.
I mean, here's your perspective. Maybe, I don't know if this is or isn't, BJ, but Boise State gives up a last-second touchdown, basically, to only win by 11 at Georgia Southern. This week, Georgia Southern goes to Nevada, is a 3-point favorite, and Nevada just won a road game against an FBS team. Georgia Southern's got a little substance to them, man. They're not just a pushover, and going in there, seeing their quaint little stadium and stuff like that, I didn't even know the reality of it, but they are very good at home usually. So, it was a good road victory. Don't give me, I don't, and the thing about it is, man, I think I didn't get a chance to read his column yet, but I saw the title of it, and I'm with Prater, man. I don't understand why fans, and this is not everybody. I don't want, like, this should not be interpreted as it's even the majority, but there just are fans out there that believe they know more than Dirt Cutter, and they want to root against the kid. And I don't get that. Like, his 22 of 31 for 280 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Like, if Boise State, that's a 151 QB efficiency rating. If Boise State gets a 151 QB efficiency rating out of Maddux Madsen this season, I'm telling you, they're going to win a ton of games, including probably a Mountain West Conference championship, and be in position to go to the college football playoff. I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
And I just think that if there was just a blank name attached to the stat line, 22 of 31 for 280 and a touchdown and a pick, and you didn't know who that was, or if you knew it was somebody else, I think people would be over the moon. And I think a lot of the things that Maddux does is the best for this specific football team. I thought it was massive. He didn't take a sack, and he got the ball out quickly. He kept the offense on track, which means for Dirt Cutter, not only is the run game always available, but what you can do off of that run game is always available. You're not just sitting there in 5 and 7 step drops and having to sling the rock around the yard. It's either a run or play action, or you're always a threat of a run because of the down and distance that Boise State was constantly in. And we heard that a storyline in the offseason was how good Dirt Cutter is, working off of play action. Well, Maddux was like 10 of 14 for 180 some odd yards off of play action. I mean, those are some pretty freaking good numbers, man. So, and also he didn't hold on to the ball. Like, he was decisive off of play action. Like, sometimes you look up and you have a tendency to hold on to the ball or try to find somebody. No, he knew where he was going with the football. And it's funny because I think sometimes, like, we knock his height, and that's fine. He's a short quarterback, man. But you know what? It means that he always has to be a step ahead, knowing where he's going to go with the football, which means he doesn't hang on to the football forever, man. Like, he knows where his receivers are supposed to be, and he goes out and he gives them a chance for the most part. And so I personally, man, I had tweeted this with 5 minutes to go in the game when we were walking out of the press box before we went down and lost cell coverage, basically. I just don't know how much more you could have realistically asked out of Maddux Madsen, 2,000 miles away in his second collegiate start. He's only a sophomore against Georgia Southern. I don't know how much more you realistically could have asked out of him.
Yeah, I told Prater yesterday, if you get that exact same stat line, 280 yards on a 71% completion percentage with 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and no sacks, with this running game, you're going to win a lot of games.
Win a lot of games, man. And by the way, 70% or better on 30 or more attempts, right, BJ?
Yes.
There have only been 15 quarterbacks in college football to do that this season, and 130 some odd started a game. Only 3 did it on the road, and Maddux Madsen's one of them. So I just hey, I know that you can make stats say certain things, and I get it. I do, but at the same time, like, you also can't ignore what they say. And in that case, man, he was pretty darn good. Was he perfect? No, but I'm not. No, you or I, nobody said that he is. Like, he's not perfect, but you know what? He's good. And when you compare that with, or combine that with this offensive line, this receiving core, these running backs, man. Take a guy that's going to put the team in the best position to score 56 points, and right now, that I think that's Maddux Madsen.
Are we going to talk about Maddux rolling left, throwing against his body, the bomb to Caples? That was a big-time throw, which is funny. Comment right after says Maddux' only weakness is his arm strength on some throws. The ball looked like it floated a bit and didn't have great zip to it. There's only one throw I can remember to Cam Camper that got knocked out of bounds that I thought he was a little late on. But for the most part, I thought he showed fine arm strength. And that throw to Caples was literally the play after he had a absolutely, Cam Camper didn't even have to move. The ball just fell right into his shoulder on a 53-yard completion, which came after the interception the drive before. I know we've talked about it, but there was an offense there. There was a holding penalty on the kick return. So they start that drive on the 10-yard line, I believe, and they go 53 yards and then like 35 yards. And literally in 2 plays in like 30 seconds, they go from their own 10 to the 1-yard line. I thought that was a big swing in the game. 2 big-time throws from Maddux.
Yep, I'm right there with you. And even on that Caples throw, like, yeah, maybe it did seem to hang in the air for a second, but if you go back and look, like, Luttrell kind of stepped on his guy. The DB had no shot because he was running at Luttrell with his back completely to the quarterback. And so even if Maddux, say, chooses to underthrow that ball just a hair, that DB is going to run through Luttrell and you're going to get a PI on it. So that was, to me, man, whoever made that comment, that you go back and you look at that, and that was my exact reaction. I was like, wow, that was 45 vertical yards in the air, but it was a little across the field. So you're probably looking at about 50 yards in the air, cross your body. Like, there's not a lot of quarterbacks that could just like zing that throw in there, BJ.
Yep. Yeah, so, no, I thought he played great. But with that, Jay, comes the wide receivers, and there was, you had 2 targets for Austin Bolt. The one that he had, should have caught. The guy knocks it out. Probably a play that he'd like to have back, but a nice play by the DB to knock it out. But that's he was wide open in the middle. That's a catch that Austin Bolt probably needs to have.
He need to finish that.
So he finished with no catches. And then Prince Strawn in the stats had no targets as well. And so he was out there a lot. I know the ball just didn't go his way, but 2 of your projected starting wide receivers with a combined 2 targets and no catches. And again, Prince Strawn, who a lot of us thought might be the best receiver on the team this year, no targets in the game. Let's tell me what you make of this comment from Dirk Cutter after from Monday's press conference.
A blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing and a curse because those guys all want to be fed, and there's only one ball. So you guys can draw your own conclusions from there. Yeah. Well, they're all, those. It's hard. It's hard for. This is a game based on stats, but it's also a team game, right? So the object of a team game is to get 1 more point than the other team. And we were able to do that. But within that, guys want to, they feel, they have a tendency to feel more like they contributed based on their individual stats. So, I try to tell those guys, everybody has to have when you're a run first team, everybody has to have an O-line mentality. Those guys are grinding it out and never getting the credit. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do for some of the other skill guys. It's human nature, but at the same time, it's a team game. And that's a hard thing. It's hard everywhere, not just here.
Okay, Jay, I want to go back and play the first 10 seconds of this one more time, just to get the first part of the quote that I want to discuss.
Well, that's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing and a curse because those guys all want to be fed, and there's only one ball. So you guys can draw your own conclusions from there.
Draw your own conclusions from there. I got to think he's talking about Prince Strawn being unhappy with no targets.
Probably. Any wide receiver is would is going to want the ball thrown their way, without a doubt.
He's the guy that wants to go to the NFL and is talking about being there real soon and being a big part of the offense and doesn't get one ball thrown his way the entire game. I'm not surprised he's not happy, but the fact that Dirk Cutter knows he's unhappy, that thinks he's alluding to him maybe being unhappy. You just hope that doesn't become a problem with 6-7 receivers all trying to get the ball. And as he said, a lot of mouths to feed in one ball. You hope that, you hope that's not an issue here moving forward.
Yeah. Gosh. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. I don't know if I want to speculate too much about what I don't know. I think we can assume that. But one thing two things I do know, the Lancaster boys are dudes, and Latrell was everything that I thought he would be, and Cam Camper was everything that we've been telling you he would be. And I know that Chris Marshall, for whatever reason, just seems to be a little bit more of a guy that moves the needle. Like he just gets a little more attention right now because Cam Camper's just a little quieter, and tried telling people a few weeks ago, like Cam's probably the guy that you really need to focus on as being a guy that could really contribute to this team in a hurry. And he showed it immediately. 4 catches, 99 yards, did it on 6 targets, made some big plays, some tightly contested balls. Technically, depending how Twitter world wants to score point after attempts, he was over 100 yards because he had the 2-point conversion that he caught as well. So I guess his stat line could read, 2 catches or 5 catches for 101 and a touchdown, because that's how apparently we grade 2-point conversions.
You want to count the interception for Madsen, you said, but they don't want to give credit when it goes the other way.
Man, that hit me right before I was doing Sunday Sports Extra on Sunday, BJ, and we were on the plane together. We traveled all day together, and people were talking about how people were like trying to say that counts as interception. Well, it doesn't. And if anything, by the way, people, like, it makes sense to try to force that ball in there versus throwing it away, because the likelihood with all that traffic and where he was placing the ball of that guy actually being able to get out of the end zone, let alone run 100 yards in the other direction, is very, very small. And so if you throw it away, you don't even have a chance at scoring. If you try to force it in there and it gets picked, it doesn't matter. But if you want to count that as an interception, then you also have to count the 2-point conversion Cam Camper as a touchdown, apparently. That's not the way that it works in stats, everyone. But if you're going to be critical of the kid for throwing an interception in the end zone and really demand that count, well, then he threw another touchdown as well.
Yeah, we did have somebody asking about the depth chart, Jay. It is out for week 2. It is right here on the screen. I'll make it full screen for you. I don't see any. I don't know if you noticed any. I don't see any changes at all. People are asking, I guess, alluding to Mason Randolph was seen in some postgame videos in a sling. He is still listed as the starting center on this week's depth chart against Oregon. That doesn't mean much, obviously, Jay. Just because he's listed there, I wouldn't say that 100% means he's playing. But did you notice any changes from the week 1 to week 2 depth chart?
Not looking at this, man. No, it looks pretty chalk. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty standard.
As I think folks know by now, this doesn't necessarily. I wouldn't put too much stock into this in terms of does that mean a guy's playing or not playing on Saturday?
Yeah, no. This is just kind of a fun little guess for the most part. I don't know. I mean, most of it will be right. Don't get me wrong here, but it's not like it's going to be down to the last detail of what you will see or expect to see come Saturday. I mean, that was even the case this last weekend, for that matter. So that's the way that this works. Until everybody goes to the SEC where they start doing injury reports, which I believe start this Wednesday. Yeah, you're not gonna see that.
Hey, Lithia Ford of Boise, the fall kickoff sale is going on. Check out Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles. Again, they have 6 student athletes at Boise State. I think that's the most of any car dealership in town. Rocking vehicles, 6 student athletes, including 4 football players. So they are driving vehicles from Lithia Ford of Boise on NIL deals. Return the favor next time you're looking to buy that car or truck. Make sure you do it at Lithia Ford Boise. This is a Taco Bell Tuesday. We appreciate Taco Bell. My kids will be getting my Nelia's flag football practice tonight, so we'll probably get some Taco Bell before practice. TacoBellWorks.com is the website. They're hiring, so you can apply for a job. SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. So, again, if you're looking for a job, you get free food while you work, half the wages the next day after your shift, all kinds of great promotional opportunities as well. So next time you're looking for a meal or for a job for that matter, consider our friends at Taco Bell. Transportation compliance service. If you're a truck driver or maybe thinking about getting into the trucking industry, they can handle all the paperwork and get you all the permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. So check them out, transcompservice.com. They're a local company based in the Treasure Valley, helping folks all around the world. So again, trucking industry, maybe never thought about it, but it's a nice booming industry right now, very lucrative. Check them out for more information at transcompservice.com. You need some gear for the game on Saturday? You heading over to Eugene, make it into the blue and orange store, whether it's jerseys, the new uniforms, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, sweatshirts, jackets, shorts. They got, kids, everything. They got it at the Blue and Orange store. They got the great clearance rack up front. You get some great deals. So check them out there in the Boise Town Square Mall, second floor next to the Pro Image and the Pro Image Kids. You can also order from anywhere in the world online at the blueandorangestore.com. So Travis Hawks, huge supporter of Bronco Nation News, and hope you guys can return the favor. I know you have a lot of options to shop for Boise State gear, but the blueandorangestore.com will be your most comprehensive and best option. Unfortunately, Jay, no 91 cent coffee or fountain drink. They did get 4 sacks, but Ahmed Hassanin was not able to get one of them. But on any Monday after a game where Ahmed Hassanin gets a sack, you can get a 91 cent coffee or fountain drink courtesy of Jackson's. And same goes for Breezy Dubar. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to play and get into the end zone. But on Tuesdays, after Breezy finds the end zone, you can get any size soft drink and a hot dog for $1. Courtesy of Jackson's. And again, they have 25 cents from every hot dog. So you can still go purchase a hot dog, and 25 cents goes to benefit the Horseshoe Collective from all Treasure Valley Taco Bell stores, or Jackson's locations. So we appreciate our friends at Jackson's. They will be sponsoring the Riley and Ridge show tonight at 8 o'clock. Riley and Rid. I know Kekala Kaniho is going to be one of the guests. I forget who the other guest is going to be, but they're still working on a couple more. But come on down if you're in the area. We'd love, Jackson's is a sponsor. The Riley and Ridge show, 8 o'clock tonight. They'll be live on the patio at the James Kitchen and Bar in downtown Boise, right by the stadium. So looking for something to do tonight, want to come have a cocktail, come have an appetizer, hang out, see Kent Riddle, Riley Smith. They do the show kind of in the corner, and there's some seats around where you can kind of sit there and watch and listen to the show. I know our friend Nathaniel Wilder, the Foam Ranger, has been there a couple times. So come on down if you'd like to hang out. And again, Kekala Kaniho will be one of the guests this week on the Riley and Ridge show. And again, that is tonight at 8 o'clock. On Bronco Nation News. All right, final couple of minutes here, Jay. You mentioned just and I guess we'll really dive into this on Friday, but just the opportunity that faces Boise State this week, a national stage. I know it's Peacock, but I still think it's going to get good viewership. It's going to get a lot of people talking, and I guess in particular, Ashton Jeanty. We can get into the magnitude for the game on Friday. When you're in Eugene and I'm on my way. But I think just for Ashton Jeanty to have any kind of backup performance, and if he can do even 150 yards, just in 2 touchdowns, just any kind of solid performance to back up what he did on Saturday, he could continue to make a national name for himself.
Yes, exactly. And hey, let's be real, man. The Ducks are not going to be easy to run the ball against. Like that, actually, that's kind of a staple of Dan Lanning's defenses. They usually shut down the run. So this is going to be a really, really tough task for Ashton Jeanty and that offensive line, without a doubt. But there's nothing more that Boise State could ask for at this moment in the season, man. They're coming off a season opening win where they feel pretty good about themselves on offensively, and still need to grow defensively. But this could be a season defining type win, and then you get a bye after it, man, to rest up for the next month of football, and you get to come back home and play on the blue. So you get this one, man, you grab everyone's attention. And the Boise State of the Kellen Moore years is back if you go get this one. It's everything that Boise State could ask for in terms of an opportunity. Now, can they seize the opportunity is the only question.
Hey, Jay, I know you got to run, so I'm going to keep it rolling for a few minutes, but appreciate you, man, and we'll see you down in interviews.
Sounds good, bud. Can't wait. Really looking forward to getting over to Eugene and covering this thing, and I'll talk to you on Friday on here as well.
We'll see Jay Tust Friday morning from Eugene. We appreciate him for jumping on here to Bronco Nation News Live. By the way, folks, if you got a pick for me, I could use some help. We've got the NFL schedule right here, courtesy of Circa Sports. The NFL season starts on Thursday, and we've got our master schedule right here. The BNN Survivor Contest, the BNN Pick 5. we gotta get this happen here, man. I've told you guys I'll comp you a year subscription to BNN if we can win some money in this thing. So the NFL Survivor contest, Circa Survivor. I'm wearing the Millions hat today. I got the Survivor hat right here. We appreciate Circa Sports, one of our big sponsors at Bronco Nation News, Circa Resort and Casino. And by the way, we do have a couple, not a lot left, but if you want to go down to Vegas for the football game in October, we got a couple of spots left, and you get round trip airfare, 2 nights hotel, a pre-party before the game with some free drinks, and then you get maybe the coolest part. They're going to give you free transportation over to the game and then back afterwards. So if you're interested in going to the game in Las Vegas in October, which the way UNLV looked the other night against Houston could be a massive game, let us know. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. That's RAINS at bronconationnews.com, and we can try to hook you up with the package that we have available. Again, it's about $500. Starts at $500. It goes up based on where you want to stay and some of the amenities and things, but $500 gets you a round trip airfare to Vegas, 2 nights hotel, and transportation to and from the game, as well as a pre-party at Circa with some free drinks and things like that. So looking forward to Saturday. But again, the NFL season starts Thursday, and we got to make our Survivor pick for week 1 here. I'm looking at maybe the Saints, maybe the Seahawks as well. There's a couple teams we're looking at for week 1. So let us know. We got about 9 or 10, folks from Bronco Nation News family that have signed up entries. So I'm looking forward to following these all year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So appreciate everybody. If you can please give us a like or a subscription on YouTube. We're surging towards 6,000. We're already above 5,400 now. We've added like 400 YouTube subscribers in the past couple of weeks. So the channel has taken off. We appreciate all you guys that have been loyal from day one. If you're new to the channel, we appreciate you as well, and hope you enjoy it. We do this every morning at 9 a.m. live Boise State football and sports talk, Mountain West talk, college football talk, 9 a.m. every weekday here on YouTube. And then also we do live pre- and post-game shows on location. We'll be at Autzen Stadium showing you the sights and sounds pregame about 2 hours before kickoff on Saturday. So make plans to join us there. But also, please do make plans to join everybody at Western, proper House of Western, downtown, Bar National. After the first game there, Kip's fired up. There's a big touchdown, I think, for Genty. They're fired up at Bar National there. So a lot of TVs. They had good quality on the sound. Obviously, nothing they could do about the ESPNU debacle, but they'll have Peacock. They'll have the game on. There should be no issues on Saturday. And again, looking for a night out, something fun to do. Want to watch the game with other Boise State fans and help, the Horseshoe Collective in the process. 10% of all proceeds go to the Horseshoe Collective, which is the NIL organization that helps put money, into the pockets of Boise State student athletes. $3 Horseshoe Golden Ale beers, discounted burgers, all kinds of great stuff. So it was a great crowd, and we're hoping to make it even bigger. We're hoping to take over the bigger bar next door if we can get a big crowd. So come on down, make plans to join us, and we'll give away a $50 gift card to Western Collective. If you come down and just show us on your phone that you're a YouTube subscriber, you get entered in the drawing. And if you're not a YouTube subscriber, you can sign up real quickly. So it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday, and really do hope that you guys will make plans to join us at the National Bar inside the House of Western group there on Idaho Street. Make plans now, get some childcare, and come on down and watch the game with some other Boise State fans. And I think we'll get Karen Rains out there again, and we'll have a fun time on Saturday in Eugene. Looking forward to the game, there, and also at back in Boise at Bar National inside the House of Western as part of the Western Collective Group, our studio sponsor. So we appreciate them and their support of Bronco Nation News. We got some interviews today. Maddux Madsen is talking. Hopefully, we've had about 10 people sign up in the last day or two for paid subscriptions to BNN. So we appreciate those of you. Again, you've been with us from day one. I know a lot of you have been around since November 30th of 2021 when we launched this thing. Super appreciative and thankful for all of you. But those of you that have come on lately, we appreciate you as well. And if you're on the fence, we'd love to try to entice you to sign up. Just $50 for a full year, BNN 50 deal. I had the post-game column on Ashton Genty. Mike Prater had his thoughts on a lot of things from the game the other day. I wrote about the defense yesterday. So we're churning up daily content. You get a daily email. You get exclusive access to some things, and including the Portland State game, which I believe we're going to make subscriber only for the pre and post game shows. So that's right. If you are not a paid subscriber to BNN, you are not going to get access to the pre and post game shows for the Portland State game. So the home opener, you want to see the sights and sounds of that, you got to be a paid subscriber. So if you can help fork over $50, BNN 50 deal, we would love to have you jump on as a paid subscriber and help us out. That's a full year, 365 days of coverage for $50, a one-time fee with the promo code BNN 50 deal. If you'd rather pay the monthly fee, that's $6.99 as well. So help us out and get in now so you don't miss out on the Portland State pregame and postgame show, which will be paid subscribers only, to thank them for their support financially at Bronco Nation News. Jennifer says totally worth it. So appreciate you for saying that, Jennifer. I think it's a steal with what we provide. And but we do want to make sure there's a value to being a subscriber. So the Portland State game is going to be the home opener. We've decided to make subscriber only for the pregame and the postgame show. So if you can, jump in, be ready for it, and we'd love to have that for you. But can't wait. Going to be a fun week getting set for Saturday in Eugene. Heading over on Friday afternoon. I know there's some events going on Friday night. So if you're going to Eugene and heading out around town, let us know where you're at. We'll see if we can get a little meetup with some BNN fans and friends and just have some fun getting set for the game on Saturday. I've never been to Autzen Stadium, heard great things. Looking forward to really getting over there on Saturday. And obviously Boise State has won there before and is 3-0 all time against Oregon, but certainly faces a tough task. Somebody was asking about the AP poll. That should be out in the next hour or two. It'll be fairly quickly. I think it's before noon or around noon, maybe at the latest. So it'll be out in the next couple of hours. I'm guessing Boise State is not in there. I'm guessing they're 26th. If Georgia Southern hadn't scored that last touchdown, the score would have looked a little better. If it was 56 to 38 or whatever it was, or 37, I guess. I forget if they went for 2 or what happened there. But I think that might have helped when folks are just looking at the score and they're like, oh, wow, Boise State gave up 45 points to Georgia Southern. So we'll see. A couple teams did lose, not a ton, though. So I'm guessing Boise State's not in there, and I wouldn't get offended, Boise State fans or whatever. It's just a lot of these voters don't change it unless somebody loses, and not enough teams lost to warrant a change. So I would guess they're just outside, but maybe I'm wrong and they sneak in at 25th, and that would certainly be cool going into the matchup on Saturday in Eugene. So thanks again to all of our sponsors. Again, our title sponsor, folks, rowpaint.com. There would be no Bronco Nation News without Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. So next painting project you have, interior painting, exterior painting, those concrete coatings transform the look of your garage, your basement, your back patio. I highly, highly, highly recommend their concrete coatings. And so check them out. roepaint.com is the website. And again, please support the sponsors. You see a lot of them behind me. I got to get a new one of these made with the Taco Bell logo on there, because Taco Bell is a big time sponsor of ours and we appreciate them for jumping on board. And so if you can help support the sponsors, I always tell you, but if you can post it to social media, it would help as well. If you go eat at Taco Bell or go get something from the Blue and Orange store or buy a vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise, put it on social media. And go ahead and tag BNN and tag me, and we can make sure that the business owners see that their stuff is working. Their advertising on BNN is working. We appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Been a fun show. And by the way, I did get my copy of the Ash and Genty video game case. My kids thought there was a real video game in there. There's not. It's just kind of fake, but it is pretty cool what they're doing here, trying to get the media on board with the Heisman Trophy campaign. They sent these out to a lot of the national media before week 1, and it's kind of a cool, just kind of video game cover, a simulated video game case. It was a smart idea, and it's got a lot of different stuff on here about Ash and Genty and some stats and things, and so pretty cool that they're really trying hard. And obviously with a huge game against Oregon, he could only help his chances even more in the Heisman race here moving forward. And going to do it against a guy in Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback for Oregon, who's going to be right there in the mix for the Heisman Trophy as well. So kind of a cool side story on Saturday. So appreciate you guys. Maddux Madsen is talking today to the media. I believe Cam Camper as well. So check back. Make sure you're subscribing to that Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. And we will get Cam Camper, Maddux Madsen interviews posted to the YouTube channel this afternoon. And again, 8 o'clock tonight. Come on out. If you haven't been out to the James, it's an awesome spot. It's going to be a beautiful night out on the patio. And again, if you come hang out with us, first drinks on BNN. How about that? Come hang out tonight, 8 o'clock show. If you want a Diet Coke, you want a Bud Light, whatever you want, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, and it doesn't matter. You want a beverage? We'll take care of your first one from BNN if you come hang out tonight and watch the Riley and Ridge show presented by Jackson's. They're going to have Kekala Kaniho on location. They're going to have another special guest as well. So it's a fun time, and you can meet Riley and Kent, talk to them. You can ask a question live on the air if you want to come do it in person, or you can just kind of sit there and watch the show as well. And a lot of great stories, a lot of funny memories, and look back. And it's turned into a really fun show. If you missed last week, some of the stories about Garrett Collingham and Matt Pistone going to the bar and drinking after they beat Florida State during the flight delay. A lot of great stories. You never know what they're going to say. Garrett Curran was great the week before that. So Riley and Kent have really kind of formed a nice niche here, a nice show. They'll talk about the game. They'll talk about the Oregon game. They'll tell some stories. And I expect tonight to be a really fun show. So 8 o'clock Mountain Time. It's streaming on YouTube if you can't make it. But if you can, we'd love to see you at the James Kitchen and Bar out on the patio at 8 o'clock. And again, we appreciate Jackson's, the title sponsor of the Riley and Rid show. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. Again, go subscribe if you can to the YouTube channel. It's free. And then, again, we have over 200 of you watching on YouTube right now, and there's not 200 likes. So if you can hit that like button real quick, we would really appreciate that. It helps us show up a little higher, and we would appreciate that. I've been paying the full amount for 2 years. Going to renew again, BNN, the best Boise State sports coverage. Hey, I appreciate that, Bywater. That's really nice of you to say, man. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot for saying that. Jennifer enjoys all the shows, so appreciate all of the nice comments, nice words. We're having fun, and the channel is starting to take off a little bit here on the YouTube side. So like it if you can, subscribe to YouTube if you can, and then again, if you can afford the $50. Promo code BNN50 deal is the promo code. 1 year for $50. Then it goes up to $70 for the regular price. $70 is still a steal when you average it out over 12 months and average it out over per show and all the stories and things you get for $70. We wanted to keep it affordable for everybody. And but we do have, expenses we got to pay, and got to pay Jay and Prater and Johnny and Jaden Finch, and got to pay our travel expenses to get to these games. So these are free shows you're watching on YouTube. Hopefully you can jump on board as a paying subscriber. We'd love to have you. And again, when you talk about what we got coming up for that Portland State game, it's going to be the subscriber-only pregame and postgame show for Portland State. So jumping out. Best coverage, especially this last weekend. Thank you for that. That was very, very nice of you to say. So, yeah, having fun. And, again, Maddux Madsen, Cam Camper, we're talking to him today. We'll get the interviews posted on the YouTube channel this afternoon. I'll have a story on Maddux Madsen as well later today. And then we'll be back with Brad Bedell, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Brad Bedell, his take on the win at Georgia Southern, and then looking ahead to the Oregon game. Don't want to miss Brad Bedell tomorrow at 9 a.m. But first, 8 p.m. tonight, Ball Talk with, I guess Ball Talk's tomorrow night. I get all the shows mixed up. Ball Talk with Sanford and Johnny is tomorrow at 8. Tonight at 8 is the Riley and Ridge show. How about that? Multiple evening shows with former Boise State players and coaches. And it's just pretty cool what we're doing here and expanding by the day with BNN. You think about that. Tonight at 8 p.m., you get Riley Smith and Kent Riddle. You get Brad Bedell tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then you get Mike Sanford and John Mallory tomorrow at 8 p.m. I mean, that is a heck of a 25-hour stretch there on BNN. So appreciate you guys. Go subscribe if you can. And we'll see you at the James Kitchen and Bar tonight for Riley and Rid at 8 o'clock. Have a great rest of your day. And, again, check that YouTube channel this afternoon for the Maddux Madsen and Cam Camper interviews. My name is BJ Rains. Appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com.